interesting. Thank you, Peter. I remember covering years ago. Do y'all remember when California shut down the whole water system because of the Delta smelt? It was like basically this little minnow that the environmentalists were worried about. Yeah. The families couldn't have water. They didn't have water to grow their crops. The homeless shelters had people surrounding it for city blocks.
Well, just remember when the Colonial Pipeline had a little problem here, 6 months ago? And
that went well.
And there was there were lines 5-6 miles long in some spots.
Thanks to the hack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, before who's the one who spoke to Justin Somerville?
Oh, that would be me.
Steve. So you talked to him about Line 5.
We talked to somebody who works on Line 5, and we talked to somebody who works at a refinery that takes the fuel from Line 5 and refines it. Here's what they say would be the impact if they pull the plug.
It's going to impact the workers in northern Michigan. There's compressor stations all along this line that help push the gas and the oil through the line, and I represent the northern 29.5 counties of the Lower Peninsula of Michigan. So we typically work a couple 100,000 man-hours a year on this line.
I can't imagine that the administration would want to lose good-paying union jobs, hurt people on a precarious income because the price of fuel goes up, the price of everything goes up, including heating your home, and make us competitively disadvantaged to the rest of the world, especially here in the Midwest.
Let's bring in Ohio GOP Congressman Jim Jordan to discuss this. Congressman, this affects many of your constituents. The man we just heard there, he lives in Toledo. He's the Toledo Refinery Company, and he held up a piece of what the pipe looks like, and he says it's robust, it's heavy, it's a substantial piece of American steel.
Of course.
He said the federal authorities say that the existing line is safe, and they're actually building a tunnel under it just in case there is a risk of it ever breaking. But he says the risk because of that tunnel are minimal to zero. What's your reaction? What are your constituents saying?
Well, I mean, you know this is going to be safer than the one they approved in Russia, the Nord Stream pipeline. I mean, this makes absolutely no sense. It's like, what do these guys want? $8 gas? I mean, last week in the committee hearing, Ro Khanna, Democrat member of Congress, we had the big oil company executives in there from Chevron, Exxon, BP, who had them in there, and Ro Khanna was badgering these guys saying, will you commit to reducing production? Will you lower production? And I'm like, what do you guys want? You want gas to, I mean, it's like, so Joe Biden begs OPEC to increase production, and Democrat members of Congress badger American companies to decrease production. I mean, this makes no sense. It's like they're intentionally trying to harm American families and American workers, and I don't get it. I don't think the American people get it, and that's why Joe Biden's at 38% or whatever number he's at now.
Congressman, you know better than me, but I heard that Ohio began to come back economically when fracking started taking root. Have you guys been affected since they've only really stopped it on federal land?
No, not so much in Ohio, but I mean, the whole country came back under President Trump's policies, and the whole country is hurting under President Biden. The price of everything is up. The border is in chaos. The crime is up in every major urban area in this. You can just go down the list, and the American people get it. They're smart people, and they don't understand what they're getting from this administration. So, I mean, and they're back and forth. They're waffling, just like they did on the the $450 payments to illegal immigrants, people who cross the border. I mean, they said no, then yes. And same thing here with this pipeline. So this is just craziness we're seeing from this administration. Let's hope it changes. But I know one thing that is going to change, just like we saw last Tuesday. Next 1 year from now, I think the Republicans are going to be in charge of the Congress.
You know what? And you're probably right, given the fact that everything costs so much more. Pete Buttigieg was at the White House yesterday, and he said the reason everything costs so much is because the demand of people buying stuff online. It suggested that was the supply chain problem because of deliveries. He said, go to a store. But, Congressman, you know, when you go to the store, you go to the gas station, gas is up close to 43%. You can't buy a used car. You can't find a used car. Bacon, we just heard from Pancake Pete. Bacon's up, beef's up, eggs are up. Here in New York City, our famous $1 slice of pizza is $1.50.
Yeah. No. I mean, the Democrats' overall economic plan is as dumb as it can get. It's lock down the economy, spend like crazy, pay people not to work, and then for everyone who has been working, oh, we're getting ready to raise your taxes in this next crazy bill they got coming. And then they say to the people who transport all the goods, if you don't get the shot, you're not going to be able to have a job, even though they drive by themselves in a truck all day long. So this is how stupid their economic plan is. And again, the American people get it. I just wish someone in the Biden administration would wake up and actually just start doing some common sense things, but I don't think they're going to. I think this is intentional, this is deliberate, and it's just flat out wrong.
They think they know better than us. They want to force us to get, all these green energy cars and have wind turbines in our backyard. But are they listening to the people? When we interview every single day, we interview people whose jobs are at risk from these pipelines, or restaurant owners who say we can't stay open any longer. This is our source of income and everything's expensive. We interviewed one lady who owns a Mexican restaurant. Listen to what she said.
We are buying maybe every 2 to 3 days just what we need, so we don't stock up on anything. We're just really pinching pennies and running around a lot trying to get products that we really need. Us mom and pop shops would really, really work hard, and this is our dream. And we will not be able to compete with bigger corporations. So then all of the small businesses might not survive it. And that's what this country is based on, is people like us.
And now they want to spend more money on this social spending bill, trillions of dollars that we don't have.
Of course they're not listening to the American people. The Energy Secretary laughs when she gets a fundamental question about increasing production so we can actually have the energy independence we had just 10 months ago. The Democrats, after Glenn Youngkin's big win, after the truck driver beats the Senate Majority Leader in New Jersey, the Democrats do what? They just proceed with their crazy legislation, and they're going to pass the next bill too. So of course they don't listen to the American people. That's the unfortunate part. And the last person on there, you see the response that they get and what they're having to deal with. So this is all bad for American families, but this is the left. This is today's left. They're smarter, they're better, they know more than all us regular folks, and they're going to keep doing their crazy things. And the only way you stop them is you beat them at the ballot box like they did in Virginia a week ago.
So, Congressman, you have a Republican governor and legislature, but yet you feel as though they're trying to get you out by redistricting your district and have you go against a Democratic Congresswoman named Joyce Beatty. What's going on here?
Well, I mean, John Boehner tried this 10 years ago. It didn't work then. Look, I think it'll work out in the end. I plan on running, and we'll see how it all shakes out. These things, they take a while. We'll see how it all pans out. But I plan on running for re-election. I hope that, as I said before, I think we're going to take back the House, and Lord willing, I'll get a chance to chair the Judiciary Committee, which is the committee that's supposed to protect your First Amendment liberty, something the Democrats have been attacking for almost a year now.
What's behind this?
I'm not sure. I mean, we're losing a seat. There's some negotiation that takes place. So again, we'll see. The Republicans are in control, and hopefully it'll work out just fine. But we'll have to wait and see.
Okay. In a couple of weeks, your new book is coming out. Folks can pre-order it. It's called "Do What You Said You Would Do: Fighting for Freedom in the Swamp." It comes out November 23rd. Congressman, thank you very much for joining us live.
That's a perfect title.
Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.